A key to sustainability is the ability to grow your own food. In response to the 2008 Wall Street crash, we began to look at food production in urban areas, both in terms of its potential economic input, job creation, and value generation in the neighborhoods, but also to begin to address the issues of food deserts, where fresh foods were not making it to some of the low-income communities. Our response was to establish the Local Food Research Initiative to help urban communities produce their own food. Some of the goals of the Local Food Research Initiative are to research intensive growing methods for small sites in urban areas, test year-round growing methods, to transfer those methods to urban growers, and ultimately to establish urban farming as a viable means of creating fresh food supply in urban areas, specifically food deserts. On our 5-acre farm, we built a commercial greenhouse with raised beds in which we could both germinate and test some of the growing methods that could be transferred to urban communities. Some of the features of the greenhouse are a ridge vent, which allows it to control temperature through the hot summer months, as well as roll-up sides, which increase ventilation, reduce disease, and help to control the temperature as well. We are testing organic methods of soil and nutrient production, as well as pest control. We've been testing organic pest control methods. Our goal is to make the urban farms as self-sufficient as possible. Eliminating the purchase of soil, fertilizers, and pesticides is key to this approach. One of the crops that we first looked at as a source of economic value are tomatoes. Tomatoes are used in a number of dishes. They are highly valued in the grocery store and can be grown intensively under plastic. Here, using the string and clip method, in which the vine, tomatoes are essentially a vine, can be strung from the top of the greenhouse and then its growth controlled up. By growing under plastic, even unheated, the growing season of the tomatoes can be drastically increased, sometimes as many as 2 or 3 months, thus increasing yield and ultimately increasing the number of pounds that can be produced per square foot. We also looked at transferring methods into the field. Here, growing tomatoes using the string method, using various techniques to be able to grow these in the ground as well as under plastic. We have begun to test transferring these methods to urban environments. Here, we developed a cold house with raised beds on an asphalt parking lot. We worked with local volunteers from Blessed Sacrament Church in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We have volunteers of all ages, starting at 12 years old up to people in their 70s participate in the development of this cold house, which will serve to produce food for their food pantry, serving the poor year-round. This is the completed cold house, about 25 linear feet, with raised beds. You see here, this is prior to covering, which occurs in the fall, collard greens being grown. This is a great crop for urban environments, great nutrient density, used in a number of dishes, as well as providing 5 to 6 harvests over the course of the summer. Here, we're showing the cold house being covered, and then the fall crop being planted in early October. Plants were started both inside the cold house and in raised beds outside the cold house. Here, you see the crops once again in early November. As you can see under the plastic, they've continued to grow. In fact, some of the spinach is actually harvestable. But the primary idea was that these crops would be available in February, March, and April to begin the season with mature crops that could be harvested for the food pantry. In addition, we have worked under an EPA grant to develop an urban business planning tool to help other communities be able to plan and develop their own urban gardens and urban farms. These are just some of the things we're working on with the Local Food Research Initiative. We look forward to practicing and implementing new techniques well into the future.